Subtitles want to be a top thief. Doug's a pro at heist but isn't branching out. Little John is tough and a bit wild, but he's loyal to Doug. This is their second date after all. After Claire mentions the heist, Doug gets taken away. With 4 masked guys playing eye cover feels like a game of hide and seek. Finally, they left him by the seaside. He learned from Claire that feds were after him, aiming to find him in Charleston first. Claire also mentions that if she ever hears the robber's voice again, she will definitely be able to recognize how seriously Doug has done it. Upon hearing the assistant manager was hospitalized, Claire, still confused, didn't visit, so Doug took her. He's more like Claire's ideal boyfriend rather than a robber, sweetly sticking by her side. Doug waits outside patiently to let them chat privately. Claire mentions seeing that robber statue on the back of his neck. It's a mascot for Notre Dame. She worries the feds will force her to testify, so she awkwardly keeps quiet. She asks Doug what to do, and he breaks down the situation seriously. Doug advises Claire to keep the info for now. Her situation's bad. Feds want quick resolution and to go home. Subtitles. There will be someone to protect her when they get off the car, but after driving Claire home, they listen to her recounting the tragic story. Her car's been wrecked, and some guys hurling insults and tossing bottles at her every day. So every day, Claire takes the long way to work, holding her breath. Doug finds Little John swinging around a hammer. Subtitles. Little John closely follows behind, and when those 2 guys attempt to open the door, they end up getting taken down. Beer bottles hit their heads, hammers strike their palms. After the lesson, drugs are dropped on purpose. He warns the guys to scram, or next week they'll get a special surprise. Little John can see there's trouble. Obviously, the guy has no clue he's ticked off Doug. Little John removes his mask to taunt him, saying, "Remember this face," but he makes sure to remember the guy right back. On heist day, cameras failed to perfect. Vets traced it to days as a security firm. He has to take sick leave for work, and oops, every time he does, a heist pops off. What are the odds? Subtitles. Claire sends her greetings once more. At that time, Doug was still just a little kid. Doug awoke to his father's sobs, seeing him in the kitchen, ashtray full of butts. Dad tells him, "Your mom's gone, and she's not coming back." Since then, Doug's been on a quest for Mom. Doris's grandma owns a restaurant in Florida. Subtitles. He had thought Mom went there, but later he realized it all had her reasons. The police began to keep an eye on these guys through days. Doug, Little John, and John's little sis, Days, who's 22 and works as a tech at the security firm. Subtitles. Fatty, a pro car thief, is so talented he'll steal your car while you seek keys. James lost his dad in prison and his mom to AIDS. He killed the guy at 18 on the ranch, and when the judge asked why, his answer, "I just didn't like the." Subtitles. Sentence for manslaughter, max 9 years. Agents' no plans are always too precise. The mastermind isn't Little John, it's this other guy. Doug once dated John's little sister while working with the florist. His dad, Old Mac, once helped the florist. Young Doug even attempted a bank robbery. He ended up in prison for 8 months over the robbery, almost missing out on a spot in his pro hockey league. He was quite the sensation. The team signed him, then rejected him for fighting talk about roller coaster. So, back home he went to join the family business and fell into addiction classic. However, the federal agents do not have sufficient evidence to prosecute them. They can only keep digging for evidence while Doug goes on a date with Claire. Halfway through, Claire takes a bathroom break, and Doug gazes at the blue sky, dreaming of a bright future. He's never left Boston before. Suddenly, Little John pops up right across from Doug. He doesn't want his bro spotting Claire. She's their witness. Subtitles. How could Little John think Doug would dine alone? Then stunning Claire arrives, forcing a chat. Doug feels the awkwardness alone, worrying about Little John's neck tattoo. After a few casual words, Little John gets ready to head out. Doug quickly covers Little John's neck and sends his bro off. Doug suspects Little John is tailing him, but he's already handled Claire's situation yet Little John thinks Doug's in deep trouble. Claire is a witness after all. The brothers bicker and then return to the planning table for the next. Meanwhile, Doug remains busy planning amid the chaos. Worried, the next job's guard seems to be a retired Special Forces member. Little John is not afraid at all, while Doug heads off to the prison. Subtitles: he goes to visit his father, old Mac, not understanding why his dad always gets into fights in prison. Turns out, if you behave well for a year, you can be moved to a prison where no one fights. But Dad says some things you just gotta deal with yourself. Looks like old Mac has secrets of his own. After that night's date, they head over to Claire's place. They move from the living room to the bedroom, and just before things turn serious, Doug says they had a great time. If you want to hear more crazy heist stories, don't forget to subscribe to my channel.